Ipswich, they haven't really been beaten badly until that Newcastle game last time out. So whether we see a response from them, they're always the type of team who have tended to make it difficult for teams this season. So not expecting a straightforward one, but at the same time, in the relegation zone, 2 points from safety, this needs to be a win, doesn't it?
Yeah, it 100% needs to be a win. But they've already been to North London and won this season. They obviously went and won at Spurs, and I think everyone thought that was an absolute home banker on the day, and it didn't turn out that way. So I think for Arsenal's point of view, they will be very much hoping that Ipswich will defend like they did against Newcastle at times at the on the 27th. That'd be very handy for them. But yeah, they've got to be winning this game, and the fact that it's coming on the back of the Saka injury as well, I think more eyes will be on it. How are Arsenal going to cope without Bukayo Saka? And the last thing they'd want is to fail to be able to break down an Ipswich side without him, because that would just, the noise then would just be incredible in terms of how they're going to handle the next 3 months or so. So it's a massive game for Arsenal. Absolutely have to win. You would think they're going to be going into it full of momentum. Look, Saka went off early doors against Crystal Palace. They still went on and scored 5 goals in that game. I think it was 2-1, wasn't it, at the time he got injured. They went on and scored another 3 goals in that game and could have scored a hell of a lot more as well. So they are still creating chances. They showed that they can score goals without him against Crystal Palace, and they'll absolutely, they've got to be winning this game against it. And that's no disrespect to Ipswich at all, but Arsenal, if they want any chance of catching Liverpool, then they cannot be dropping points at home to Ipswich.
And the schedule was pretty nice for Arsenal over Christmas. A nice 6-day break since the Palace game, just a natural one, which you don't really usually get at this time of the year. Could that play a part, even if it's just, fresher legs, but even if it's just in the people Arteta's able to put out on the pitch? Yeah,
you'd hope so. They're travelling wise as well. It's kind of gone their way in the last month or so, really. They've really not been out of London for a long time. And that's even not going to change for the next month or so, sort of until mid-January. I think the furthest they have to go is Brighton. So travelling wise, they've not had much to do, and they have had a bit of time to rest now. So yeah, I don't think tiredness should come into it at all. I think they'll be ready. I think you'd hope after 2 really good morale boosting wins, they're going to be buoyant, and we'll see that against an Ipswich side who, to be fair to Ipswich, the way they play, I'm not sure, probably going to put the kiss of death on this, but I'm not sure we're going to see an Ipswich side that are going to come and do what Everton did, for example, a couple of weeks ago at the Emirates. I think Ipswich do want to play. It's kind of that, they get forward, they do attack, they like to counter attack. They've got some good players in transition, like Amari Hutchinson, of course, former Arsenal player, he'll have a point to prove, I'm sure, when he comes back to the Emirates. But I think that might play into Arsenal's hands. There should be a little bit more space there. I can't see it being a Sean Dyche-like performance from Ipswich. So I don't see a repeat of the Everton game, and I think that should benefit Arsenal, and we should see a lot more space for them to try and exploit.
And just in terms of team news, you've mentioned the front 3. Maybe you'd go for anything else further back. Declan Rice coming back in. Zinchenko, I see, is potentially in the mix to be back in the squad.
Yeah, and Calafiori as well obviously came on against Palace, which was a real boost as well. Miles Skelly's been brilliant in his absence, and has basically become another player for Arsenal. That he's almost now another. Well, no, not even almost. I think he is now considered another first-team player, which is he's like almost added another number to the squad, which is really great because he's shown he can handle. Yeah, and sometimes you need those sort of young players to step up in times of crisis and show that they can handle it. He's absolutely done that, and no one will be worried about Miles Skelly playing a game in the future now. But having Calafiori's back is obviously really, really crucial. I thought Declan Rice, his cameo in the second half against Crystal Palace was great as well. He just looks like he's beginning to. He's had a bit of rest recently, Declan Rice, through injury, enforced layoff as well. But he's looking. When he's on the pitch, he's looking fresher. He's just looking more energetic than we've seen so far this season from him. So that's going to be a boost. I think he'll probably come back into the starting lineup. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Calafiori get his first start as well. First start in a while anyway as well.
He got a knock against Palace, didn't he, on his ankle after he came on?
Nathaniel Klein was a bit of a nasty one, but fingers crossed he's been able to run that off.